The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the February 3rd, the fantastic Friday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. Hey, let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, well, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. And I want you to know I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here. But even more important than that, and that's this, during this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone. You can dial that in. We'd love to hear from you. 877-927-6648 is the number to call in on. If you got a question, but you can't call in, you can always send me an email. For that, you send that to steve@tfnn.com. And inside the subject, and if you'd be kind enough to put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, Lakota and Dennis, well, any ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on fantastic Friday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, we've got a bit of a mixed bag out there. The mix really coming from the Dow, which is up 32 points. The S&P's off 8. NASDAQ 100 down 28. The Russell's off 73 cents, so it's flat. Semis are flat as well. They're down 2 points. Gold is not flat. It's off 45 bucks. Silver's not flat. It's down over $1. Light sweet crude is trading out at 78.66. That's up 79 pennies. Natural gas down 8 cents. And the 30 Treasury printed out at 130 even Steven. That's off nearly 2 full points. Now lead the charge. Dollar-wise, the upside, we've got Regeneron Pharmaceuticals up 4% or 31 bucks. LPL Financial Holdings up 8.5% or nearly 19 bucks. Clorox is up 7% or 10 bucks. Eli Lilly about 3% or 10 bucks. Netflix, $9, 2.5%. To the downside, you've got Bill.com Holdings off 32 bucks, 25%. Market Taxes Holdings down 5%. That's 18 bucks. Intuit is down 4%, 18 bucks. Atlassian Corp is down 8%, 15 bucks. HubSpot is down about 3.5%. That's 13 bucks and change for it. So plenty to look at. Of course, I want to look at what you want to look at. Let's begin by taking a look at the markets, the equity markets. Let's start with, let's go over to the white background charts. If you give me a moment here, let me get to the right tab, see if we've got that tab yet. Now let's go ahead and change our screens out here. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at the daily time frames for the ES, the NQ, the Dow, and the Russell 2000. So when we take a look at the ES Mini, what we see out here is an A to B equals CD pattern. We're above the 1-to-1 level. This just puts us on target to look for a bearish reversal candle. If we get a bearish reversal candle at day's end, we will then have a sell the D point pattern. Because price is trading above support, that would become the target area to the downside. There's 2 levels of support out here. The first level would be a profile area. Well, the top of that profile for the ES Mini is up at the 4088 level. The green oscillator and change line, that becomes the next area. That's at 4095. Well, as price pulls back, that line will pull back. So really 4088 becomes the price target to the downside. What's the price target to the upside? Excellent question. Although you can't really see that here on this chart, the answer to that question is the next A to B equals CD. So basically hit the 1 to 1.272 yesterday by getting up towards 42.15. The 1.618 expansion, and when I'm talking about expansion, I'm talking about the expansion of the A to B leg that's applied to the C to D leg. Well, if we expand that out by 1.618 out there, 161.8%, what we'd be looking at is a price target of 4,300. So you're on lookout for a bearish reversal candle. Short of that, price should continue to move higher. In the case of the NQ, it also has an A to B equals CD pattern, but yesterday it completed a TD9 count. A close above yesterday's high would negate that signal, and that would tell us about a strong upward momentum move. Yesterday's high, 12,949.75. Jot that down in your pad of paper. If there's a close above that, TD9 count fails, and most likely price then targets 12,940. That's its 1.618 expansion level, but that's what it hit yesterday. So this would be going for a 1 to 2 A to B equals CD, and that price projection level would be in the 13,325. Existing top is in place. That remains in place until price negates that signal. Price should pull back to test its oscillator and change line, top of its profile. And again, that's in the 12,208 level. And take a look at the Dow equity future contract. We just have a good old-fashioned consolidation. Yes, the Dow is trading higher, but it's just consolidating between 33,716 and 34,489. Nothing else there to worry about. If we take a look at the Russell 2000, it achieved its 1-to-1 A to B equals CD pattern. It is waiting for a bearish reversal candle. Short of that, you're only in bar number 4, no other topping pattern. So if we do not get a bearish reversal candle, then price should target its 1.272 A to B equals CD pattern. That would take us up into the 2060 level. So summarize this for us, Stevie. Well, how do I summarize this for us? We change panels. We go look at the 30-minute time frame chart and see what they're doing out here. So on the 30-minute basis, why is this like this? What do I got to do here to get rid of that? There we go. That should get rid of it. There we go. So if you look at the ES Mini on the 30-minute time frame, Rhodes momentum indicator top led to a test. There was actually a close for 2 bars below 41.45.25. Price is back above it. What we want to watch is the high from 2:30 yesterday afternoon. This is the ES Mini high of 42.0850. If price closes above that, it'll negate that Rhodes momentum signal and suggest we move higher. Price should target that high. Why? Because we're above the top of its profile and above its green oscillator and change line. So it's trading into that swing point. I would say that swing point should get tested. When we take a look at the NQ, it too has a Rhodes momentum indicator top. What did that lead to? A test of breakout support in the 12,561 level. And now what price has done, it negated a TD9 count top that formed here at 8:30 this morning. Right? You're not seeing the charts? Don't know why, Mr. Bill. They're definitely posted in here. So I'll just wait for the production team to just tell us something here. But that's it showing up on you're seeing the ES. The ES. Yeah, the ES. You're seeing the ES, the NQ, the Dow, and the Russell 2000. So you should be seeing 4 charts, each for their 30-minute time frame. I am showing the 30-minute charts, Mr. Bill. So if something is stuck, I'm really not sure what's going on. Again, I'll just have to wait. We're seeing ES chart. Well, that was from the production department. No, you should be seeing 4 charts, each with the 30-minute time frames. E coming in good here. Don't know what that means, E. So I'm going to assume that you've got it. So back to these charts here. Yeah, 4 charts. Perfect. Okay. So if we take a look at the NQ, I'm just simply going to expand it out that we were all looking at the exact same chart here. So you can see as the jobs report, daily charts. That is crazy. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll get this figured out here momentarily, because we want you to look at the right thing. That's for sure. And Stevie somehow screwed that up. But you know what? I can unscrew it. Now you should see the 30-minute chart for the NQ. So we get back from this break. We're back in business. Be right back.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. So we've got the NQ, the 30-minute chart for it. What we can see out here is yesterday evening, well, there's really 2 Rhodes Momentum Indicator tops that formed, one at 2:30. Then we had a little bit of bounce back, and then at the 4:30 time frame, we after the Apple released its numbers, we got another bearish reversal candle confirming a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. Now, all that did last night was it took price right back to its profile support area. That held. And then this morning we saw a little bit of a flush to the downside. That's after the jobs report came out. That was at 8:30. That's where the TD9 count, right at 8:30, this had formed a TD9 count top. What did price do? It pulled back to the breakout level that was established after we had formed that TD9 count, that Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, 12,561.50. The point that I wanted to make here, and I'll make it now, is that price did exactly what it was supposed to do, pull back to support, which held. That is a bullish signal. At 11:19 in the morning, the NQ is still bullish. And what I mean by that, there's no topping pattern. Price is above the top of its profile, and it negated a TD9 count. So that suggests that price should go to retarget the highs out here. And those highs I established last evening at the 4:30 time frame. That's up at the 12,949.75 area. So that's the Qs. I think we took a look at the ES Mini. You can see it's got a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. Price pulling back and getting just below its breakout level of support at 41.45. But again, it's above the green oscillator and change line, above the top of its profiles. Retargeting this high from yesterday afternoon is a likely outcome. The Dow, which has basically been trading sideways inside a narrow band. That narrow band for the last 5, 6, 7 trading sessions is between 33,716 and 34,179. But right now, what it's doing is trading above a TD9 count breakdown level. So it closed here in another 10 minutes above 34,124, and then a second close above that level as we come into the noon time frame would say, okay, we are up above a resistance level, and the Dow wants to continue to move higher. In the case of the Russell 2000, the Russell 2000 generated Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. Price here is also above the top of its profile. It's above a green oscillator and change line. Price did get back already, and that was at the 11 o'clock time frame, and got back to retest that high out here. But with price still above profile levels, looks like we're going to take, or it's going to take another run for that high. So how do we summarize all this? Well, what we don't have here is we don't have a broken picture on a 30-minute set of time frames. And all these 30-minute time frame charts suggest that price should continue higher. It doesn't mean that it will. It just suggests that price should continue to move higher out there. So that's what's going on with regard to the equity markets. We've got a number of questions, and I don't want to fall too far behind out there. So when I say a number of questions, I mean I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7. There may be some by email as well. So let's start getting to those. And the first one really coming to take a look at natural gas. So for natural gas, we're going to, okay, what am I going to do here? What did I do? I know what I did. I know what Stevie did. He was being smart, or so he thought he was being smart. And it's in a different spot. So the question with regard to natural gas, when I answer, I'm going to change panels here. You'll see the 3-panel white background charts here momentarily. If not, please give me a hit with that 2x4. So that I know that life is happening for me. But when we take a look at natural gas, got questions from Mike in New Hampshire. He wanted to understand the weekly TD9 count. And Mike, yes, we are entering, or we will complete bar number 8 today. And we could see a bottom that forms between today on a weekly basis and 2 weeks from now. Bar number 9 needs to complete. We're going to close, it looks like, at the low of the session. That's typically not how markets end. And so the earliest we would likely see a TD9 count bottom kind of confirmation for us would be next Friday. But that low could come 2 weeks from now. So that's the weekly chart. I know that's what you're most interested in. And yes, it does have a TD9 count, but not a completed pattern. You need to have bar number 9 for that. If we look at the other time frame charts, you'll see on a daily time frame, and forget about this wave 7 count out there. Not that it's not valid, it is. Let's just, because this is in such an A to B equals CD to the downside, if this is going to bottom, we will see a bullish reversal candle. That would then confirm a buy the D point pattern. The monthly chart shows us that we're below breakout support of $2.63. So that's not a good scene. So all the charts here for natural gas are suggesting that we should continue to move lower. Now, this will be week number, let's see here, this will be week number 7 of consecutive lower closes out there. And if you take the natural gas chart back far enough, there are plenty of times, I'm not showing it here, I was looking at that's because I've got the March contract up. There are plenty of times where it does extensive moves like this. So even in this pattern here, we're taking consecutive moves lower, consecutive moves higher. That's not even a signal right now to step into a trade out there. And if we look at a 30-minute time frame chart here for natural gas, let's look at this. What we will see is no bottom signal. No bottom signal whatsoever. So Mike in New Hampshire, I think you've got to just sit tight here for a while. I think we're all taking a look at it. When we do get that bottom, we'll certainly make you aware of that. Brent also wrote in, and Brent wanted to take a look at the A to B equals CD patterns out here, as well as the seasonal aspect. So I'm going to change the windows. We're going to go back to the black background screens. And what I'm going to pull up here is daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. Now, you can see here that price is trading below all profile levels, so all 4 of those. The weekly chart, which Mike in New Hampshire had asked about earlier with regard to TD9 counts, what we can see here is we've drawn in a consolidation. And this is a consolidation breakout pattern or breakdown pattern. Usually you'll make a measured move equal to or greater than the consolidation. The 1 to 1.618 A to B equals CD to the downside is at $2.16. So that is a likely price target. We can see the consolidation pattern takes us down towards that level as well. Brent's question was, what's the A to B equals CD if 216 fails? And that next price projection level, that'd be the 1 to 2, would get us down into the dollar range. $1.03 is what shows up on my screen out there. So that should answer Brent's question. We got the A to B equals CDs. You can see that on the daily time frame as well. So Brent, Mike, we all want to see a bullish reversal candle to give us some kind of signal that there may be a bottom out here. Brent also wanted to take a look at the seasonal pattern. So if we take a look at the seasonal pattern, this red vertical line represents where we're at today. Now I'm going to detrend this chart out here. I'm going to try it. There we go. And that just, as far as what does detrending do inside of the SeasonX chart, detrending removes the overarching trends from the calculation, which brings the relative performance into greater relief. This makes it easier to identify the cyclical patterns in instruments with very persisting long-term trends. So we take a look at this, and what Brent was asking for is, when does this typically bottom from a seasonal standpoint? Brent, it turns out that the actual bottom here on average over the course of the last 32 years has come in right around February the 14th, Valentine's Day. So maybe Valentine's Day is when we see that bullish reversal candle inside of natural gas. And the reason why we want to play it, most certainly, why Mike in New Hampshire wants to play it, why Brent wants to play it in Martinez, California, is because take a look at when we do get a bottom here, if the seasonal pattern continue out here, this says we move higher into June. But don't get in too early, folks. Let's wait for the cavalry to arrive. And then we'll just simply be at their backs. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back. When we get back, we're going to take a look at Silvergate. We're going to look at the float turnover for Stevie Woods. We're going to look at EEM for Alton, Apple for Dennis, AN for Phil, and BCLI for Dan. We'll be right back.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Let's get to our next question out here. This is from Steve Woods. Steve wants to take a look at Silvergate. The ticker symbol there is SI. And what he's interested in is he developed this float turnover channel that luckily my eSignal platform had programmed in there. So we'll take a look at it momentarily. First, though, Steve, what I'll share with you on the daily time frame, Silvergate generated Rhodes momentum indicator bottom. It does it back here in the early part of January. What we've seen is a move up towards its TD9 count breakdown level of 26.44. I would say that's the price level that Silvergate needs to close above. As I pull the chart back here, we can see that price has not been able to close above a TD9 count breakdown level for quite some time. So I'm just taking us back into September of 2021 out there, and September of 2022, my apology. And so that's a level that if price can close above would suggest a breakout. On a weekly time frame, what I don't have here is any kind of a bottom pattern, nor do I have that on the monthly. Now, let's go back to the black background chart here for Silvergate, and the left-hand panel that's going to pop on your screen here momentarily. In fact, I'm just simply going to expand it out. Now we're looking at the daily time frame. Now, what the blue horizontal lines, those are our TAS market profiles, and we can see Silvergate trading above the top of its box. That's a bullish outcome. And then these green or these blue lines out there, they are the float channel lines. Steve, maybe I've misstated that. Hopefully not. For Silvergate, and the float channel is basically taking a look at the outstanding shares, the tradable shares out there, and figuring how many days does it take, or when do you get to where you have that turnover. Turns out here it looks like it was 3 days, Steve. So I know you're getting information from a couple of different systems. I've got the upper band at 2471, the lower band at 1750, and the middle at 2111 out there. So that's the information that Steve was looking at. The information that you're looking for here as well, anybody taking a look at that trade, is watch the 2644 level. So, Steve, thanks so much for writing in. Much appreciated. Let's go to our next question. This is coming in from Alton. And Alton wanted to take a look at the EEM. That's emerging markets out there. Alton's question goes like this. Good morning, Steve. If you can please look at gold, well, Barrick Gold, and EEM for entry points. So with regard to the EEM out here and an entry point, price is right now trading below the bottom of its daily profile, and is trading into a swing point that formed here on January 31st. There was 43 million shares that traded hands that day. So far today, in about the first 2 hours of trading, you are at 11 million shares. So 11 times 3, we'd be at about 33 versus 43. So you're moving to that swing point with light volume. It may close below that low, which is 41.01. If it does close below that, you still could trigger an A to B equals CD to the downside. If we're to do it with volume, then you would trigger that. So with regard to the daily time frame chart, and you're asking where is there a buy point out here? Well, really the buy point, because it's trading below profiles, takes you back to 38.68. Is that possible? Well, I would say if the U.S. dollar index is getting ready to break out, that becomes a real possibility out there. If we look at the weekly time frame chart shows a B point out here, happens to be labeled B. 297 million shares was passed with 166 million, 211 million. That 211 was going to 297. So that B point was passed with lighter volume. Doesn't mean that it won't complete the A to B equals CD pattern out here. But if price were to pull back on a weekly chart, your level of support, Alton, that you'd be looking for is at about 39.71. So we've got 38.68 and 39.71 as two potential price targets out there. The monthly's not really assisting us. And if I turn over and take a look at the 30-minute time frame chart here, give me a moment here. We'll pull that over. We'll open it up. We'll see what we see. What do we see out here? Stevie says not much. So I don't see anything here pattern-wise that's going to really help us and assist us there. So I think you need to be patient because this is pulling back. I'd be paying attention to what the U.S. dollar index is doing. I believe we have a question inside the Tiger's Den on that, and so we'll go take a look at that as well. So I just think you got to, right now, Alton, you just simply have to be cautious and sit back. Dennis in West Palm Beach, he's a neighbor of mine. He wants to take a look at Apple. Apple out with earnings. I know they were traded lower last night after the bell and even this morning, but they are on their merry way to potentially taking out a prior swing point. That prior swing point, October 28th, the volume there, 164 million shares. So far today, in 2 hours of trading, 66 million shares. Wow, big volume. So as long as price closes in the swing point, which it likely will, it should at least retarget 157.50. Now, today you'll notice on the chart for Apple is this will be the bar following bar number 9. And therefore, is this on SI, silver? No, that SI was the name of the entity. So you can use SI for the futures contract, but obviously you have to put in the month. But SI was the Silvergate something or other out there. Silvergate, I should say. Back to Apple. And hopefully everybody can see the Apple chart here. Oh, no, you're at the black background. Ooh, glad that I changed the windows here. Get back to the Apple charts. So we take a look at Apple. It's going into the swing point right over there at October 28th. Again, it's moving in there with volume. Today is going to be the following bar number. And I know we're going to get a TD9 count top that's going to be completed today. If on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Apple trades above today's high, whatever that is, at the present time, today's high is 157.38. I do not know what the day's high is at the end of the day. But if price does trade above that, close above that, I should say, that would be a bullish sign. I would say there's a strong momentum move to the upside. Well, if there's a strong momentum move to the upside, Stevie, where would price head to? Well, I'd have to say price is trading with inside this descending channel line out here. It's above its weekly profile levels. I'd have to say the top of that descending trend line in the 165-ish area. Turns out that Apple is trading with inside a bullish structured monthly profile. Price is above the center of that level at 149.91, albeit we just started the month here. But price should go target 162.99 to 168.79. So it looks like Apple wants to continue to move higher out here. As I look at a 30-minute time frame, it's not the only intraday time period that we would look at. But as we do take a look at the 30-minute time frame here for Apple, what we do not have is any kind of a topping signal. Now, there is an A to B equals CD pattern. Each of you can see that. We'll draw on the A to B line. We'll just simply move this over to the C point. We're going to try to move this over to the C point. There we go. And so it has completed the one-to-one move. What it has not done is generate a bearish reversal candle out there. So on a short-term basis with regard to Apple, I'd watch for a bearish reversal candle on a 30-minute chart to suggest that we pull back. And just recognize we do have a TD9 count top. Now, if that TD9 count top gets traction, what price should do is move back to its oscillator and change line. And that would be in the 144.16 area. So that's what I would be watching for when it comes to Apple. So, Dennis, I hope that helps you out, and I hope that I answered your question. The next question coming in from Phil wanted to take a look at AutoNation. So where do I have the AutoNation chart? I do. You got to love it. So with regard to AutoNation, what you should see out here, Phil, is that yesterday was the completion of a TD9 count. Now, if price closes above yesterday's high is 140.45. That's numbered right on your pad of paper. If price closes above that, that tells you about a strong momentum move to the upside. We can see price traded above weekly profile, prior topping patterns out there, as is the monthly above profile, which is 133.48, and above its topping patterns out here, the topping pattern being a Rhodes momentum indicator signal from back in August of 2022. So as long as price, that's a monthly chart, but the weekly chart says, hey, you know what, as long as price closes above 135.57, AutoNation is in full breakout mode. Now, I don't know what the question was out there. It was multitasking, and I forgot to write down specifically what your question was with regard to AutoNation. But I'm telling you, its stock charts look very, very, very strong. However, there is a TD9 count top present. Now, when we take a look at the 30-minute time frame chart out here, did that provide us with any clue? So as the daily was forming the TD9 count top, the 30-minute chart was forming a Rhodes momentum indicator top. But price is consolidated with inside that profile. Nothing broken here, just a sideways consolidation between support and resistance. That's AutoNation. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back. Would love to hear from you too, folks.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back up, folks. So we're taking a look at Barrick Gold out here. GOLD is the ticker symbol. Yesterday, it confirmed a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top on the daily time frame when it generated that bearish engulfing candle. Price right now is taking a who wanted this? Might have been Alton. Price right now is testing support, which is the bottom of its profile, and that's at the 1864 level. It's also trading back into a prior swing point from the trading day of January 18th. Alton, there was about 15.7 million shares that traded hands that day. So far, Randgold has pulled back with 10 million shares, so it is pulling back with volume out there. If it closes below 1838, the signal there is that Barrick Gold should pull back to 1745. We can see on a weekly time frame, you've got a TD9 count top. So that still remains in place. Trading profile levels are actually below, and so that's a bullish sign. Does not mean that price can't pull back to 1806, the top of the profile, or even 1735. So the daily time frame is 1745, and that's if you get a close below the January 18th level out there. On a 30-minute basis out here, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Again, ticker symbol GOLD. It negated a TD9 count bottom at the open today. I don't have any bottom signal other than price coming back to at least test this area, and this area being the January 18th lows out there in the 1839-ish type area. So that's what I see when we take a look at ticker symbol GOLD. Again, I believe that was the second request from Alton inside the Tiger's Den. So thank you very much for that. The next request that we're going to take is to take a look at, I don't remember. Let's see what pops up here. BCLI. Okay, that is for Dan inside the Tiger's Den. So Dan, a TD9 count pattern. I apologize. I read your question a while ago and I don't recall, but a TD9 count completed yesterday. And price is trading above that today. I see it's trading into this gap. This tells us about a strong momentum move to the upside. Now, that assumption is that price today closes above the high of yesterday. And the high of yesterday is $2.14. I don't see anything triggered to suggest that that won't happen. So that's a strong move. So then where should price head to? Dan, the next battle for BCLI is going to be that monthly oscillator and change line, which you're basically trading into right now. So that next level of resistance is well, I guess I have to do this. That next level of resistance is at $2.46. If price can clear at 246, then what you should see, and this could be a counter trend rally. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but it should then move up to the 230. What the heck? 274 to 296 level, 274 to 296. So you can see where your next battle is. It's basically where you're at about right now. Things do look good on the daily time frame. So I would assume, although that could be a problem, making that assumption, but it should be able to bust through that monthly red oscillator and change line. But nonetheless, that is where your that's weird. That is where your next battleground is for BCLI. And if I look at the 30-minute time frame chart, we don't see any kind of a topping pattern here, just strong momentum move. And this is going to be week number 5, consecutive week with higher closes out there. We'll show you that chart here as well. Just a quick peek back. Last time this had 7 consecutive closes back there on September 15th. So it's not as if this thing does not have those types of runs out there. And again, that ticker symbol is BCLI. Looks very good, dealing with that resistance level established on that monthly time frame. So Dan, thanks much for the request. Hope that helps you out, and have a fantastic Friday. The next request that we're going to take a look at here is going to just pop up on our screen. That is EFA. And EFA is, I forget who asked that, but somebody did. And hopefully you guys are seeing the screens out there. And so EFA is, I'm not sure what EFA is. EFA is the iShares Trust MSCI EAFE ETF, which did form a what? It did not form didn't generate a bearish reversal candle yesterday. So it has a Rhodes momentum indicator signal triggered, needs a bearish reversal candle to confirm the pattern. Right now what you've got is basically a consolidation with inside its profile. That would be between 70.38 and 71.80. The weekly chart looks good out here. There's an A to B equals CD. I don't know if it's been confirmed on a weekly basis. The B point had volume of 120 million. It was passed a few weeks ago with 897, then 111, and then 78. So, yeah, it hasn't been passed with volume. Nonetheless, it still could complete that pattern out there. And on the monthly time frame chart, we see that prices up towards resistance, which is 72.62. The actual high so far, 72.44 for the month. So how do we review this here? I mean, we just did. So you got a wave 7 top. That's the top that's in place. Your real levels of support here should be between 70.02 and 70.38. A close below 70.02 would suggest a further move lower. And I'd go with that further move lower then would be at about 68.78. That's the top of the weekly profile. Below that, then we'd be looking at about 67 to 65. So I apologize for not understanding what the question was. I was concerned I wasn't going to be able to get to all of this stuff here. But luckily we have. So that's the information with regard to EFA, and I do hope that helps you out, the you being whoever it was that made that request. So now what we're going to do here is I'm going to actually shut this chart down. I believe that's going to leave a blank out there. Now I've got to get rid of my data feeds, which I'm going to do. And then I'm actually going to close out the system. And then what we're going to do is come back. And that was for Phil. Okay, thanks, Phil. What we're going to do is we're going to come back. I'm going to start that system back up, the Ninja Trader system, that is. And then I'm going to put the data feed on so we can go take a look at the U.S. dollar index charts. There was a question that came in from Coda inside the Tiger's Den. And this question was, what would make a good bottom for the U.S. dollar index? I think that's what your question was, Coda. If it's not, please just knock me upside the head and we'll get your question properly dealt with. But if that is the question, let's pull up the multi-time frame set of charts for the U.S. dollar index. So that's what will populate here momentarily. I just have to find them. U.S. dollar index, multi-time frame charts. And what screen are we on? Let's see if this, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so we're good there. And let's just let these populate. So the very first thing is with regard to the U.S. dollar index, what we do know about it is that price is consolidating basically with inside its profile. Now, it's above the top. I don't know where we'll end up today, but the top of that profile is at 102.23, Coda. So closing above that What chart? You guys see the chart, right? Yeah. Closing above that, yes, on DXY. Great. You've got some calls on UEP. So what you want to see is you want to see it not just close above today, 102.23, but certainly you want to see this close above that level on Monday. And preferably on Monday, you see price close above today's high, whatever that is. That would be a bullish signal. That would be one of the first things that I would be looking for to suggest that we have a solid bottom. Now, here's the daily time frame chart. And yesterday, what the U.S. dollar index did was it generated a bullish reversal candle, and that confirmed a Rhodes momentum indicator signal. Now, we've had a few of those signals that have failed. The first one that came in was on December 15th. But look, price was below the profile levels out there. So that was not a good scene. The next one came in here. That was on January 16th. That eventually failed. So being able to close above the top of that profile coda, that's going to be the first important element out there, and that will differentiate this Rhodes momentum indicator bottom versus the prior ones. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll look at the U.S. dollar index as soon as we get back to this.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We're bisecting and dissecting the U.S. dollar index here. This chart shows us the consecutive weeks up or down from a closing, matching closing to closing. We can see here we are in week number 2 of a higher close on the U.S. dollar index. Now, what you should also notice is that typically we get those 2 to 3 knee-jerk reactions, right? Most of these have been 2-bar knee-jerk reactions, and we see a move lower out there. That can last also for 2 days. So I would expect that first, if the U.S. dollar index gets beyond 5 consecutive days, we've got a change in trend signal for sure, and pretty powerful one. But otherwise, Coda, kind of prepare at this stage here for at least a short-term top to take place either between today or next week out there. So with regard to any other time frame charts, the concern with regard to the U.S. dollar index is if you look at the monthly chart, we're below all kinds of levels of support. When I say all kinds of levels, we're certainly below the green oscillator and change line, and no bottom signal on the weekly time frame out here. There's no buy the D point. There's no nothing here. This suggests that price might want to head lower. We do have that pattern we looked at on the Rhodes Momentum Indicator pattern on the daily time frame, and closing above the top of that profile is going to be really important. And that's at the 102.23. If it closes below that, I don't know what your call options are, how far they go out. But if we don't close above it, knowing that we're week number 2, odds would favor then that we'd at least see some kind of a pullback out there. As I look at the other charts, the intraday charts out here, Code, I don't see any topping patterns. The 5-hour chart looks pretty good because price is trading above TD9 count breakdown resistance. So everything looks pretty good, but watch that profile level. I think that's the key for you today, is to watch that. So I hope that helps you out with regard to the U.S. dollar index. Now I'm going to do the same kind of a thing here, folks. It'll take me just a moment to do this. I'm going to get rid of that data feed. I'm going to actually close out the application itself. I have now recently found that if I don't do that, and I do it the other way, that sometimes that data feed doesn't take hold, and I'm getting oh, shoot, we're at the end of the show. I wasn't able to get to VLO or NEE or the IWM, but we can do that on Monday. Hey, folks, stay tuned. There's great programming lined up. Please have a fantastic Friday and even a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you on marvelous, magnificent Monday. Take care, folks. Be safe out there.